Hello, BookTube. As I foresaw, I am going to be a little pressed for time this week. I'm going to do my best tonight. I decided this afternoon that I would do my best tonight to maybe have 2 or 3 hours of freakish productivity and see if that makes a dent that will ease the weight for the rest of the week. I'm still intending to try that. That might help a lot. But in the meantime, I've got lots and lots of nits picking at me. I mean, I've got writing for the writing collective that I want to do every day. I've got deadlines to do every day, freelance work every day that pays the bills, keeps the lights on here at Hyde Cottage. I've got this extra bit of work that has to be done this week, and a whole bunch of other things. So it's not gonna be easy, but I wanted to make a few videos today anyway because it feels weird not to. We have 2 read-alongs that are going, and a lot of you are enjoying those. That's wonderful. That's fine by me. But I want to do a general book video, at least one. I don't know if I'll have time later tonight to do another one, but I want to do at least one general book video, and I have some new arrivals. I have a book haul that I can do. It doesn't take much for me to accumulate enough books to do a book haul. I barely have to step outside and take a deep breath, and all of a sudden I've got books all over me. These form an age-old function in my acquisition of books because they are the harbingers of a storm. Apparently, a winter storm is coming to Boston tonight and all day tomorrow. Apparently, it is going to snow and accumulate snow. I don't believe it. Today was warm and bright and sunny, and it doesn't snow in this part of the world anymore. But all the weather models are unanimous now. All the weather forecasts are unanimous now. All the any kind of prediction metric, they're all saying the same thing, which is half a foot of snow. I don't believe it at all. The climate has broken. The climate reached its tipping point years ago. It's not coming back. The next time Boston is going to have what I think of as a typical Boston winter, will be in the next Milankovitch cycle, which is 175,000 years from now. So I don't believe it. I don't believe it's going to snow at all tomorrow. Maybe there'll be wisps of snow in the air. But on the chance of it, I accumulated some books because I like to accumulate books before any kind of a storm in this weird kind of idea that I might run out. I'm not going to run out. This is an odd little book haul, full of things that they were offered to me. These were all free. These were things that were offered to me that can you give them a good home? And when books are offered to me like that in a great big pile, I get sentimental, and I think, well, maybe it's been a long time since I reread you. Maybe I can give you a home. Maybe my library can be the place where you are read and loved. So I grabbed a whole bunch of them. I grabbed a small pile of books that I want to show you. The first one is in battered shape. This has been loved, I would guess, by more than one person. And it's a murder mystery series. We're coming up on March Mystery Madness. And the theme for March Mystery Madness this time around is To the Nines. Well, however you want to interpret that. One of the prompts for the month, you don't have to follow the prompts to do March Mystery Madness, but one of the prompts is to read the 9th book in a series. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to read a huge number of 9th books in series. A lot of you have been recommending series to me. That is much, much appreciated. Because I might know these series, but I might have forgotten them. They might slip my mind. Wonderful that so many of you are up for that. So we're going to do a lot of that. We're going to read a lot of 9th books in series. And when I saw this thing in these sloping piles of donated books, I thought, what if this is the 9th book in a series? I don't know off the top of my head. It's not a series I particularly enjoy. And I'm going to try to change that. I'm going to give it a try. I checked, and this is not the 9th book in the series. Wouldn't that have been incredible? But it doesn't matter, because as I've said many times, I love reading murder mysteries. I absolutely gobble them down. March Mystery Madness, I love the event. This will be my 8th year as a co-host, I think. I love the event, but I cannot do without murder mysteries all year round. So I found a battered copy of The Burglar Who Traded Ted Williams by Lawrence Block. Look at that. How wonderful. So I'm going to use Clear Plastic. This is not going anywhere. It has no resale value. You purists can take your high blood pressure medicine. This has no resale value, so I'm going to reinforce it with clear plastic packing tape just so it doesn't fall apart on me. And I'm going to read it from March Mystery Madness. It's the story of a gentleman thief who's always, on the wrong side of the law and who always stumbles into a mystery that he has to unofficially solve. And Lawrence Block is a terrifically entertaining writer. So I'm not really sure why this series has never clicked with me. I think I read to two books beyond this one, and then I read the latest one. But I haven't read them all, and I'm not sure that I remember them very well at all. The only thing I remember about this is a bookseller type thing to remember, which is that this was the first Burglar Who book in a long time. It may have been 5 or 6 years between this and the book before it. But I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to reinforce it and give it a try. There's nothing in this pile that I don't recognize, but there are some things that I haven't read, and some things I'll be giving a second, third, or fourth chance to. Yes, they were free. They were a box that was free. So then these next three are all romances. And they are all the same author, Robin Carr, who does location romances. She has a particular location where she sets a lot of her stories. She's very prolific. I have always liked her, but never loved her. And when I saw these three all together, also well loved, I thought, well, that's the fates nudging you to give three of her books a try, see if maybe she goes up in your estimation. These are all Virgin River novels. And the first one is Sunrise Point. You can tell right away these are cozy, feel-good, family-oriented romances. So I found Sunrise Point, and then I found two Christmas books. Bring Me Home for Christmas and My Kind of Christmas. And they all have these Netflix stickers on them. I'm going to have to look into that and see. I have Netflix. Are these still on Netflix? They're a Netflix original series. I'm going to have to see what that's all about, whether or not that's worth watching. I don't know. Then we have a trade paperback of a book that came out. I have to pass through 500 blurbs. This came out in 2013. And I read it then and kind of sort of liked it. Thought it was a little self-indulgent, a little windy. And I'm going to try it again because it was free. And it's part of this the snow coming. I might be trapped. This is George Packer, who did Assassin's Gate. He also did Our Man. And this is The Unwinding. Doomsaying book that profiles a group of Americans, a disparate group of Americans, as they struggle with the challenges of modern society. A lot dated by now. The America that Packer describes here, he means it to seem borderline dystopian. It would seem like a Leave It to Beaver pastoral dream to people now. The country has been, by social media and by the alt-left media system, completely polarized. To the point where brothers hate brothers, where mothers hate daughters, completely polarized. Irretrievably polarized. That wasn't true when this book came out, so I don't know what it's going to be like to reread it. It's going to be weird. The fact of the changing times is the main reason. I don't think I would have picked it up otherwise to reread it. Then this next one, this is by Stephen Johnson. I don't remember reading this thing when it originally came out. When did you originally appear? I could be wrong about that. I might have reviewed this, but I don't think so. Boy, everybody in the world reviewed it. Okay. This came out in the early 2000s, is that right? 2008. This is The Invention of Air. And it really is, the back says all about the first decades of the new country, but this is really a biography of Joseph Priestley, which means it's not long enough. And also, why isn't it calling itself that? And why isn't he on the cover? Why is it that you are backing away from your main subject? That's how I remember it, but I don't know that I ever read it. I think I might be remembering what critics said about it. Certainly worth a try. Certainly worth a try. Priestley's unbelievably interesting. Then we have a UK trade paperback. We have seen this UK trade paperback on this channel before. I've hauled the UK trade paperback of this thing many times. And then one of you was kind enough to send me the UK hardcovers. And so I have those. I also have the ebooks. But it was free and it was sitting right there, so I grabbed it. This is The Private Patient by P.D. James in one of these sturdy UK trade paperbacks. I will just... I'm sure that during March Mystery Madness, I'm going to want to reread this. I don't actually know. I didn't actually check if The Private Patient is the ninth Dalglish mystery. Wouldn't that be incredible if it were? That would be just amazing. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it's not. No, it's well past that. I think it's well past that. But I love this mystery novel, and P.D. James is a mystery author who can be reread. What's the matter, baby? What's on your little mind? Hmm? Who's the baby girl? Who's the baby? How's the little girl? Huh? Who's the little baby? We're almost done here, and then because she clearly wants my attention, so we'll just do two more here, and they're both well familiar to BookTube. They're both very familiar books. I don't currently have hardcovers of either one of them, so they were free. I grabbed them. Snow is coming. The first one is Amor Towles, and this is A Gentleman in Moscow. This is not the book club edition. This is just the normal hardcover. One thing that I have learned about this author, you'll know this author because he wrote The Rules of Civility, which is a book Olive's favorite book, and is coming out with a sequel set in that world. How big a deal is that? One thing I've learned about this author that I can't say about most contemporary novelists is that he really repays rereading. Really, he does. His last book, I read it at first as an advance copy and thought there wasn't much to that. And when I reread it, I was amazed. I was amazed at how much more was in there than I saw. And this is a prime candidate of that, because I got the advance copy of this thing and read it, and I have not read it since. I never did give it a second read. Who knows how much I will encounter here. Lots of critical friends of mine in the book reviewing world really like this book. So now I have a hardcover of it. I will give it another reread. And then there's this thing, which I have read many times. This thing is a perfect candidate for 2 March events on BookTube. I have used it for those events because it's one of the only candidates that fulfills both those events at the same time. The 2 events are March of the Mammoths and March Mystery Madness. And this is a gigantic murder mystery. This is Ian Pear's An Instance of the Finger Post, which is a huge thing, over 800 pages, I think. Is that right? Are you? Oh no! This edition here is 700. Close enough. This is a very ambitious historical novel told in 4 parts by 4 different narrators, all narrating relatively the same events, but to drastically different aims, with drastically different levels of reliability, so that by the time you get to the end of the book, you have had a few narrative gut punches. A few of them. I love this book. Absolutely love it. I have the ebook, of course, but I also found a mass market paperback. And when I found the mass market paperback, I thought, oh, that's the cute way to read it. That's the right way to read this sort of thing. Until I tried. The mass market paperback, not only would it not survive a read, but the type font. The type font, this is more unwieldy, but this is much sturdier. So maybe I should have a hardcover of this, even though I have the mass market paperback and I have the ebook. Maybe I should. But as to rereading it, I might reread this for March Mystery Madness. It's been a few years since I read it. And it, like the Amor Towles book, there's a lot going on here. It will repay a reread. So some familiar things here in this odd, tawdry little book haul. We have An Instance of the Finger Post and A Gentleman in Moscow, 2 books that on BookTube certainly need no introduction. We have The Private Patient by P.D. James. A little bit of a tonal change for her, but I really liked it. We have The Invention of Air about Joseph Priestley. We have The Unwinding by George Packer, the terrific writer George Packer. We have 3 Robin Carr novels, all set in Virgin River. I'll have to check out the Netflix show if I can tear myself away from Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And finally, Lawrence Block, who's the most intriguing to me, the burglar who traded Ted Williams. That, of course, won't be the burglar in question, won't trade the actual Ted Williams. It will be Ted Williams memorabilia that's stealable. But this intrigues me the most because as soon as I saw this, I thought, did you ever give that series a fair shake? I don't think I ever did. And believe it or not, despite how opinionated I am on this channel, believe it or not, that bothers me. When I think that I've been unfair to a series that's really good. I know there are a couple of you who really like this series. I know that. So, this series and also the Rabbi novels by Kemmelman, I don't think I've given those a fair shake either. And one of you pointed out the Sister Fidelma mysteries set in medieval Ireland. And I wrote back and said, yeah, they're not really my thing. And one of you, I think you're probably watching now, wrote back rather sternly, in the friendly way that we have, wrote back rather sternly and said, well, you should give it another try. I said, okay. No, if you're sure of that, I mean, you're watching hours of videos from me every day, and you have been for years. If you're sure of that, I'll give it another try. So Sister Fidelma will be on the list for March Mystery Madness, for the 9th March Mystery Madness. But Lawrence Block, I'm going to reread this. This is not the 9th book in the series. I'm going to reread this, and if I'm wrong, if I was wrong to dismiss these so much, well, then I'll get the ninth book, which, well, it won't be in here, right? Because it hadn't happened yet in this one. And off the top of my head, I'm not going to be able to remember what the ninth book is, but not at all. But if this isn't a dead end, and I suspect that it isn't, when my instincts are like this, or when one of you says, you should give this another try, I'm willing to do it. I think I have been unfair to these books. For reasons that we need not get into, I think I have been unfair to them. So there you go. That's just an odds and ends book haul before the storm. Will it be snowing all day tomorrow? Will it snow to 6 inches, which is as high as my little baby's shoulders? I don't believe it. I'll report back. Thank you, Mortu.